I grew up going to a Title I school district. My parents didn't make very much money, and that was the same thing for like all of the peers that I interacted with in school. Just like economically, I was at a disadvantage. So like, how does someone come from that situation and then get to where I am today? I'm going to BYU. I'm like loving my major. I am making good grades, and I like practically have a full ride scholarship. And like, how does that happen? And I think the biggest influence in it is music. Like, music made me who I am today. I had incredible, wonderful directors that encouraged me to seek out all the opportunities I could. I made all-state choir my freshman and senior year of high school. And I went to state several times for band and choir. Like, I genuinely don't think that I would be right here today if it wasn't for music. But like, I'm only one example. There are so many more like of my peers and of people that I've met at BYU that have this exact same situation. So what can we do as teachers and educators to give that type of encouragement and support that type of environment for our kids?
Alexandra Andreasen claims that participation in extracurricular programs is in fact essential for students in school success. She goes on to say, since the negative aspects of poverty influence low-income children significantly in the out-of-school hours, extracurricular activities could conceivably be an effective way to combat these deleterious effects. These factors can be health, family, and social factors. Extracurricular activities in the after-school and summer hours could prevent these forces from affecting children as much by removing them from their impoverished communities for longer periods of time and placing them in an enriching and supportive environments for learning and skill building. Through her survey and studies, Andreasen discovered that music has mostly positive effects on IQ and intelligence, but this influence is often indirect, mediated by its effects on emotions, happiness, stress levels, and more, which then influence cognitive ability. Music in itself is a reward, which results in better quality of life for all involved. At the same time, however, low-income students are much less likely to have access to the arts. Why is it that low-income students at Title I schools, have less access to the arts? It all boils down to the No Child Left Behind Act. There's been such a big push for test scores, assessments, grades, and numbers, and memorizing facts that we've forgotten what real learning is. Funding for the arts has been cut to support math and English, science, and history. Education today focuses on a narrow range of subjects instead of a well-rounded education. Lisa May and Brenna Berner in The Role of Arts in School Reform mentioned that we have not yet met the goal for the No Child Left Behind Act at a national level. There are many hopes that this act would change education for the better, but for the most part, it's led to disappointments. The arts provide a way for teachers, parents, and administrators to help their students succeed, especially in Title I schools. As mentioned earlier, the Ramsar program is able to be introduced at schools with low socioeconomic statuses. It does not require specialized music instructors, but can be led by classroom educators with no prior musical background needed. Music integration can be intimidating when you don't have the funding or expertise, but it's still possible. In a survey for the music integration practices of North Dakota elementary classroom teachers, Carrie Jo O'Keefe discussed 4 distinct elementary music integration styles. The first one is the subservient, where the arts serve the core academic curriculum. For example, singing a song to help children memorize facts. The second is the co-equal cognitive, where ideas and processes from the arts are applied to other disciplines, providing for deep learning and critical thinking when preserving the integrity of each discipline. The third is the affective, where the focus is on controlling mood. For example, using music to relax or concentrate or inspiring creativity. And the last one, the social, is where the arts serve social functions of the school, like PTA meetings and honor programs. The next section of this mini-series dives into ways you can integrate music in your classroom.